dead because David Koresh had them killed. There's no question about that. He had those fires started. He had 51 days to release those children. He chose those children to die.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have some very shocking news for you. I have seen footage that you probably have never seen, some of you never have, that's never aired on network television, of footage of the Bradley tank shooting fire into the compound. The Branch Davidians did not start the fire. They were murdered in cold blood by the pussies, the liars, the scumbags, the ATF. And the meaning of it all, the reason you didn't see it, and the reason they said, oh, the Branch Davidians started the fire. No, they didn't, because they know now that David Koresh was trying to finish that fucking whatever 7 SEALs horseshit he was doing. They know that. They burn these fucking people alive because the message they want to convey to you is state power will always win. We'll paint you as a child molester, and we'll paint you as a methamphetamine manufacturer. We'll say any lie we want over our propaganda machine, the mainstream media, and we'll burn you and your children in your fucking home. So you just be apathetic, America. You stay docile, and don't you ever forget, you're free to do what we tell you.
Yeah, okay, so that was the Waco siege back in 1993. They burnt all them people to the fucking ground. Them bulldozers went in. The bulldozers, or the Bradley tanks, they went in and they ran over children and they burnt everyone to the ground. And they never ever showed that little bit of evidence of the Bradley tanks shooting fire out of the turret at the end. And they say that they started the fire. You know, they didn't start the fire at all. Okay, what's going on there, I'd say more than likely, is that there's a man who is very influential and people are starting to listen to him about the natural world to a certain point. Not to say that he wasn't a bit crazy as well. I don't know. I mean, maybe he was a little bit, but still, at the end of the day, they don't want anyone being influenced. They want everyone influenced by them. All right, and that's it. By their cult. Society is just one big cult. All the countries are a cult. So for the privilege of the cult, we get to pay income tax, right? We get to pay slave tax for the privilege of the cult. Because it's such a privilege to be in it, right? Like they do so much for us. What do they do for us? Lie everywhere, put us into corporate capacity, you know, take money out of our wage packet every week, even though it's voluntary. Income tax is voluntary, right? But now we can't do anything about it because it's like, well, they just take it out automatically. You know, they're a bunch of criminals, dude. The people in the men and women that are in the government and the higher up and stuff like that, nothing but a bunch of criminals. That's what they are, all right? Run by the devilish energy. But I wanted to make a small talk on this. Number one, I wanted to talk about two things. Bill Hicks died when he was about 32. What a great guy he was. You know, died when he was 32, pancreatic cancer, and he was dead right. And he was one of them guys that couldn't be moved. He was not for sale. He wouldn't budge on shit. You know what I mean? And he was like, you know, he was very unknown nearly until after he died. He wasn't even that famous, you know. But I always had great respect for Bill Hicks because he said it. He said it how he seen it, and he wasn't afraid to say what he had to say. And even if he lost loads of gigs and stuff like that, he didn't care. You know, he had a complete lack of concern, which I respect. Having a lack of concern is great, dude. You know, because if you're concerned about everything, dude, all the wrong things usually as well. You know, it's going to lead you up the wrong path. And the second thing was, I see a parallel from that story. For some reason, it just sparked in my head today when I seen the Paul Enslaved show and I seen them 5 women on the panel because they're congregating around him, especially women now. Men are congregating around him. So are women. He's on the land. You know, it doesn't take much of a jump to go, because it's a natural occurrence. It's not as if like, oh, they make it like, oh, a cult leader and he got a compound and blah, 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 blah. No, it's a natural occurrence. You're going to go somewhere where someone has something to give you. They have a higher vision, okay? And that's what it is. That's what happens, all right? But the real cult leaders are the government, unnatural cult leaders as well, okay, to a certain point as well, right? So they're always going to have to attack what they think is going to be a threat to them in the future. Okay, so it's interesting dynamic to see what's going to happen with the thing with Paul Enslaved, simply because they're watching, dude. You think they're not watching? They're watching. They're watching the same as they're watching David Koresh, right? Of course they're watching. What? He has this power that he can influence people in the right way. He has this power where women want to be around him. He's just a fucking gorilla. What are women attracted to him for? He has the Christ consciousness. That's why they're going around there. Now, corporate women won't be interested in that. They're only interested in horse shit like corporate men. Okay? Nonsense. Horse shit. They don't know. They have no eyes to see. They don't know. They don't see shit. Right? But they're watching, dude. You mark my words. They're fucking watching like fucking hawks. Anyone that's on that show. Anyone. And they're monitoring everything. And saying, maybe we should take his PayPal down. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we try and affect them here and there. Maybe, we don't want this. We know what, it could be like wildfire if it starts to click on. We can't have it getting too big. What if people start listening to him more? What's going to happen? So that's why I wanted to make it, because I do see a parallel between the two. I yield.